Were you aware of J.B. Bernstein's story before this?
Not at all.
No. And what did you think of the script when you first read it? I mean, what stood out the most?
I was surprisingly moved by it. I thought it was going to be a kind of a generally pleasant family movie, making fun of. I thought they'd probably be making fun of the Indians trying to play baseball, but I ended up being very, very moved, particularly by the treatment of the Indians in the Indian culture.
What are you, Bill?
I remember the speech where the character played by Peter Bosch has been brought over to be the interpreter, but has this dream of being a coach himself. And at that point in the movie where, the boys are screwing up the tryout, and it looks like this is the second tryout. I haven't seen the movie, but I just remember from the script, and JB, the Jon Hamm character, sends the guy out to give him advice. Says, "Go on, this is your moment." And I read that scene, and I thought, "Oh God, I gotta be in this movie," even though I was kind of fearful to play a professional baseball pitching coach. That's
Right.
a little out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that scene. In the movie itself, it's just stunning.
And then there's a lot of little scenes that kind of stick with you. When Jon Hamm's upstairs and he sees their rooms and sees how they've decorated their rooms and sees the little makeshift altar in the hallway. And, it has a sensitivity.
Are you guys baseball fans in general, or is it appreciated a little bit?
I like seeing people under. It fascinates me watching people under a lot of pressure. I feel like I find out a lot about people when they're under extraordinary pressure. It doesn't matter what the arena is, whether it's boxing or football or baseball.
I love baseball, but I have a new appreciation for it that makes it even more interesting to watch because of what he just said. And now understanding the biomechanics and the physics behind throwing a baseball and what these guys, how they have to condition themselves, the mental game they have to get into, all these things. So now when I'm watching it, since I had this experience on this film, it's added a whole dimension to the experience.
And you mentioned you got to visit with Tom a little bit.
Yes, I did. I got to spend a day with him.
What did you kind of take from that time that kind of enhanced or informed kind of your characterization?
That he was beyond just a guy who teaches these athletes how to the proper techniques of creating not just a maximum performance but a maximum sustainability. He's a life coach.
Yeah.
These guys, these athletes from other sports, all walks of life, come to seek his counsel because he's a wise cat, and there's just this, even started doing it with me by the end of the day, and that was the thing I carried away.
That is
very
awesome.
low key, so low key,
yes.
no hard sell.
It's amazing, and you just captured it because I've
thanks,
seen
gosh,
him around. Alan, I know we talked about being in India. What was it like actually filming in front of the Taj Mahal?
Well, on my part, I just slept in front of there's a scene of me just sleeping in front of the
Perfect.
To tell you the truth, I was less impressed there than I was in seeing the pictures. I was expecting to be blown away by it,
Right.
but I was. That's not true. I was impressed, but I wasn't moved. There are other things that moved me a lot more than impressed.
So it was easy then to just fall asleep or pretend to fall
Yeah,
asleep.
I didn't have to do a lot of backstory.
You've done that a few times in your life. You
Yeah.
can just go there. Curious, what if it may be hard to choose, but if you each have a favorite movie of the other?
Of the others,
Yeah.
My favorite movie of Bill's is Pride of the Yankees.
Thank you. Oh, that speech at the end.
You are terrific in The Godfather. Absolutely sublime.
I would have said
some good work.
I would have picked that for myself too.
And working with Madhur and Suraj, Kind of what did you take away from them? Because I thought they just made quite
Well,
a splash.
I didn't. You worked with them just a little tiny bit.
Right.
I didn't work with them at all, but I was blown away by their performances.
Yes.
I saw the movie a couple of weeks ago, and I thought they were just absolutely wonderful, open and innocent and imaginative and very rich.
Very strong actors' technique at a young age. They really know their profession. I heard
Without a lot of ego or
No.
pomp, just straight out.
no angst.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to display the classic insecurity. They know that you use your imagination, you work on a part. These guys not only had to, physically work, and we work a pretty long day, 12 hours minimum, but they had to do intensive training, bodybuilding, as well as all these, this pitching practice. After work, between work, Maduro reminds me of a young Omar Sharif in a way. Both of these actors are phenomenal, and I was a huge fan of both of them before I met them. Siraj from Life of Pi and Maduro from Slumdog Millionaire.
Right.
I was as excited to be in a movie with them, as maybe they were to be working with Alan Arkin.
And there's so many, so many things. I think that there's so many things that audiences can take away from this film. What do you hope resonates, or is that kind of, I don't know, maybe it's even presumptuous to think, or what are your hopes for people to take away?
To me, what I got taken away was I've been reading about India for 50 years, so I knew something about the culture, but and I've seen a lot of Indian movies, but there was an aspect of it. There was a sneaking into the smaller aspects of it, the more naturalistic aspects of it, through Western eyes. That the Indian movies are a little bit grand. The acting style tends to be a little more over the top than we're used to seeing. But showing that Indian life in a more subdued, naturalistic fashion was something that I thought was wonderful. And the cinematography, the views of India were just exquisite, I thought.
What about you, Bill?
The people in this country should travel more.
Yeah.
There's more to the world than America.
Amen.
And that in some ways we're the provincial country.
Amen.
And so.
But they did learn something about American culture. They did learn how to keep an elevator door open. You haven't seen the movie yet.
No, I haven't seen the
movie. It's a wonderful moment in the movie where they learn how to keep an elevator door open.
Physical gags still work. Work.
But they
There's an
it's
innocent, kind of an E.T. like innocence
Yeah.
to these guys coming over there, coming over to this country.
They don't do it as not a joke. It's just wonderfully endearing.
Yeah, it's so frank.
Yeah.
So like they've,
We
discovered
take
fire.
everything for granted, and all of
yeah.
a sudden you bring these guys, these fish out of water, and they're innocent guys. They're here, and there's some fear too.
Yeah.
And at one point they get very. I just remember this from the script.
No, they do.
They get very homesick because they can't. They're trying to assimilate, but it's very, very tough. And we're a country that was built on immigration.
Absolutely.
And we forget that, and we try to bar these people out, and we're barring our ancestors out who came in here. My ancestors laid bricks. I don't, what did your ancestors do?
My grandfather came over selling paper and pencils so people could write letters.
And we've forgotten that this is what makes our culture rich, is its diversity, and so that part of the story I relate to.
I'm so thrilled you mentioned that. That's all the time we have. Gentlemen, thank you. Such pleasure talking with both of you.
Thanks very much.
All right.